will, especially in Miami right now, will always go up in value, especially if you choose to take that risk and go into a hot spot. So I always recommend that to them. And I tell them everyone takes risks in life, like especially real estate. Half the time you can't go wrong.
Hello, Empower Nation. Welcome to Empower Her Money podcast. I'm your host, Angela Duncan. We talk all things money and business. Today's episode is sponsored by morewithangela.com, bringing private investment opportunities from the wealthy to you. Go to morewithangela.com. Keep more, make more, live more. Today's episode, I get to interview Melissa Riso, and she is a licensed real estate agent here in Miami. We're going to talk about flipping homes and the things that you need to pay attention to so that you create the best income and don't lose money on your flip opportunities. Hi, Melissa. Welcome to Empower Her Money podcast. How are you today?
Good. I am feeling really good today.
Awesome. Well, I know a little bit about your story, but I would love for you to start with that and tell the audience more about your journey to where you are today.
Okay, God, where do I start? Basically, I went from starting work when I was 16 years old. My dad raised me, and he was one of those that was like, you want to live a certain life or, have certain things, you work for it. I had nothing handed to me. So I've always worked more than one job since I started working. And I basically went from being a hairstylist to doing acting and modeling, to owning a men's hair product line, to then thinking, I should try going into nursing school because I really love doing med spa stuff. So, and then my husband was like, you know what? We need to move to Miami. We can literally flip homes there. And I was like, you know what? You're right. And because you're a GC, I should be a realtor. And that's what I'm doing.
Awesome. So you've worn a lot of hats over the years. I would love for
Yeah.
you to start with maybe early on in your career, and we'll kind of go from there. Some things that either mistakes you made with money and business or things that you learned along the way that you can teach our audience.
Okay, perfect. Well, one thing, because I didn't have anything handed to me, I knew that any money and income I was getting was really good. So to me, I never spoiled myself with like clothes and shoes and all that stuff that other women normally love to do. I was such a saver. So in my early 20s, that is all I did. Just work and save, work and save, work and save. And then when I started being a cosmetologist and I didn't want to work in a salon with a bunch of women, I decided to own my own little booth and just rent it out or pay rent for that. And I noticed, you know what, I need to pay taxes. So I need to spend a little money in my companies. I'm not giving all my money away to the government. And then I kind of was learning over the years on how to like balance that, where it's okay to spend some money on your business because you're going to give, some of it away to the government and some you get to get back. So I learned that. And then I also learned on getting investors. So when I had the men's hair product line, I did have the funds to do it, but I didn't have enough when I realized how much advertising cost. When I'm going against the big dogs like L'Oreal and Kerastase and all these hair product lines, I definitely knew that I needed a partner. So I got an investor to help me grow my men's hair product line. And that was really fun. I did that for a couple years. And then when I thought I was going to go into nursing school, everything changed. So I slowly fizzled out of that. But that was a really fun, project that I had going on.
Yeah.
So and then for the over the years, sorry, I have so much I did over the years. So I'm like putting it in a nutshell. the acting and modeling, that was more learning, like I said, with the taxes. I had a really good accountant that taught me, oh, you can use when you're buying clothes or getting your hair done or going to the gym, or if you have a car or you're living at home, you can use a lot of that as tax write-off. So even if I rented out a hotel room for the weekend somewhere, on a vacation, that was a tax write-off for me. So that really helped me learn, if I'm making a lot of money, how am I gonna, what am I going to do with that money so I'm not giving away to the government? That really helped me save a lot because you get it back. And then when my husband taught me, about flipping homes, that just caught my attention full on. And right when I did 2 years of nursing school, I had 2 more years left. We totally made that change and that sacrifice and decided to invest all that money that I had saved over the years, put it straight into a home that needed some completely new love, and then invest in properties. And that's my journey in a nutshell.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in real estate investing as well. It's something that we have a lot more control over than, say, the stock market. So I can definitely see why you dove into real estate. But you're originally from California, moved to Miami. What do you see as kind of the difference between real estate there and real estate here in Miami?
Oh boy. Okay. So for one, I feel like the real estate, especially in Los Angeles, I mean, California in general is really expensive, but Los Angeles, you can buy a home, for 1 million and up, and you will not get the land that you deserve for what you're paying. The houses are really stacked on top of each other. Even to just rent is very expensive. So I thought that moving to Miami, you can find a lot of properties that are decent prices, and they're all over the spectrum. I mean, if people are first time home buyers, I mean, you can get a house as, in the 100K and that's it. And even if it needs some remodeling and love, that's actually a great investment because you can get it appraised for higher later on when you sell it. A lot of people are afraid to buy homes like that, and they shouldn't be. But definitely, you get more land and more opportunities, I feel like, in Florida compared to California.
Yeah. So, what are some things that you look for if you're out with a client and you're thinking about possibly purchasing and flipping a home? What are some things that are kind of key things that you're paying attention to?
So I'm definitely paying attention to how bad the home is. So if it's a home that's years old, I mean, when you start knocking down walls, there can be a lot more issues. Termite damage, if the home is on a septic tank and that hasn't been changed for a long time, even the AC. So a lot of people they think, oh, this house just needs a new floor and new paint and maybe new appliances. No, wait till inspection. And they can be hit with some pretty crazy things. So sometimes I like to have my husband, that's a general contractor, come with me on my showings with clients that are wanting to, buy homes, not even just to flip, but just to remodel and live in, instead of the flipping and selling. And it really helps getting that second opinion from, him as a professional because we want to take care of our clients. We don't want them to like buy a home and then end up, having them spend way more than they can even afford on, the damages to it.
And are you guys looking at opportunities outside of South Florida too, or is this kind of where you're focused and why?
I feel like this is such a great foundation to get it started in this flipping process, just because Miami, it is such a hot spot right now. A lot of people are moving to Edgewater. A lot of people are even starting to move to Aventura. I feel like this is just such a great spot because of the price, and there's so many homes to flip. So after that, we are definitely going to venture off. My sister-in-law, I'm with her brokerage, and from St. Louis. She's a broker in multiple areas, and I might just have to follow those areas she's into, start finding properties and invest in like multi.
I hear from a lot of people saying like this is a tough market right now. Do you feel like you guys are seeing the same?
Oh, yes. So people right now are really afraid to just pull the trigger. That's why my biggest advice to some of my clients is don't be afraid, because especially if you do find a house that isn't completely turnkey, even if it needs new floors or a little updates here and there, your home will, especially in Miami right now, will always go up in value, especially if you choose to take that risk and go into a hot spot. So I always recommend that to them. And I tell them everyone takes risks in life, like especially real estate. Half the time you can't go wrong. Oops, sorry. Just kicked my camera.
Great. So you had a chance to see, I mean, this is the quickest way I think for you to learn a new city is to be a real estate agent and real estate investor yourself, is just to get out and really check out neighborhoods. What is some advice if someone's coming to you and says, I want to flip properties? Where do you tell them to start their research?
I definitely tell them to Google a lot of the areas that are hot spots. Like I was saying earlier, when I moved here, I did a lot of research to find like stats and data on what's starting to, have more traffic. So, I mean, back then it used to be South Beach. South Beach used to be, really well known to buy condos that are super cheap. And then Brickell just exploded in the real estate. Now, like I said, the downtown, Midtown, Edgewater, Aventura, those areas, to me right now is key. So I would say go for where the numbers make sense.
Yeah. And one of the things I've heard before is like if you're thinking about investing, to drive the neighborhoods, but not just during the day when everybody could be at work, but maybe at
Yeah.
nighttime, on weekends, to really get to know the area that they're thinking about investing.
Yeah. And I would also give the advice on, say like an area still needs a lot of work and it looks a little maybe even shady or a little run down. That's okay, as long as you're seeing a couple homes that are starting to be remodeled. That's almost a good sign, because why else would other people want to invest in those properties and make them turnkey? There's a reason for it. So if you're going to a neighborhood and you don't see any homes that are being remodeled, I would steer clear of that. I would wait and give it some time, and maybe in a couple years check back on it. But what I've learned in such a short amount of time of me doing real estate is definitely look for homes that are starting, or neighborhoods that are starting to have development going on.
Yeah, I like that piece of advice too. I don't watch any of the real estate shows. I'm curious to know if you watch any and why or why not.
Okay, so I definitely have watched almost all of them. And I did that when I was actually in real estate school taking the courses, because I just wanted to soak it up and see, is a lot of this reality or is a lot of this stage? And me coming from the acting background, sometimes I could tell if they are or not, but it was hard because some of them I'm actually friends with. So I'm like, no, that's pretty legit. Or no, they're just making, they're just pretty people in the camera. So but I actually loved watching other realtors negotiate.
Mm.
Um, and I like to watch their personality, because for me, I mean, gosh, I've even sent out postcards and letters of me actually saying this to my client, or, when I'm trying to market myself. I say, I will never be a car salesman. I will literally be as chill and natural as possible, because to me, it's all about energy. And you cannot just force someone or make them feel guilty to buy something. It is a huge risk for people to put that much money down. It's not coming out of my pocket. So a lot of realtors, they don't care what happens to these people, but I do, because I want them to come back to me or start getting that better, how do I put this? Like realtors right now have a bad name. And I'm trying to change that just by being more real and genuine and actually listening to my clients' wants and needs and not being pushy. Like that's one thing I will never want to be, is that pushy realtor.
Yeah, and most of that's probably because you wouldn't want someone in any sales position to be that way to you as well.
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So when you're thinking about your properties that you guys are looking at and flipping now, is there any specific, like, are you looking at houses or condos, mobile homes? Is there any one market that you guys are more focused in?
So right now we first started a house, and what's crazy is I'm actually living in it.
Mm.
Another word of advice, just because I am living in construction, if it's not just like a floors and paint job, you guys definitely need to get like an Airbnb and not live in your construction. I'm crazy. I haven't had a kitchen for 4 months. So this has definitely been a learning experience. My husband, he's so used to construction, all this stuff, but for me to live in it, it's very hard. So we are starting with a home. After that, we are going to probably move into the condos and multi units and just slowly kind of go from there. Or even because this home, when we bought it, it was 790. We're trying to put it on the market for like 1.4. We're in a really good area to do the flips. But me and my husband, we did a whole year of research before we like pulled the trigger on this. So I would suggest for people to take their time and don't start with properties that are just way out of their budget. Like even if they find, especially in Miami, homes that are even in the twos and threes, that's fine. It's all going to be investment. If you do it right and actually do quality work on your finishes, you will get the return.
Yeah, and I second that. When I moved into my house here in Miami, they were still finishing the construction, even though it was supposed to have been done already, and I
Oh
would
wow.
never advise living in it either.
Yeah. Oh my God. Girl, I have had people on like 8 men on my roof at 7 a.m. What was it last week? I almost died. I can't do this.
Yeah,
I feel so bad for my husband because it makes me cranky. But, in the end, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and our return's going to be great. So I'm actually enjoying this challenge.
yeah, and one of the things I think are unique and great about you guys, one, you have a GC on your team, so that's amazing, and two,
Yes.
you're living the experience. So when your clients come to you and ask you questions, you're telling them and giving them advice from real examples because you're doing it yourself.
Yeah, you know what? You're absolutely right on that. It's something that I'm going to be able to relate to them. And once they know that I can relate to them, there's that connection there. So
Yeah.
you're absolutely right.
So what's next for you guys?
So once this house is done, I really want, like I said, to me, I keep staying Edgewater because Edgewater is such a great area. I do want to experience, just because I'm new to Miami still, the high rise condo. So I am going to buy a turnkey, live in it for like 2 years, and then rent it out to people. And as we're doing that, just keep flipping smaller homes instead of what we just went through. So we'll stay there so I can enjoy my like turnkey home for a little bit, not construction. And then we'll go from there. But I mean, this house is going to be amazing. My husband works really fast, and he's very particular about his finishings and his work, which is rare for GCs. Um, so everyone's like, once your house is done, you're definitely not going to want to leave. But um, I'm ready for this whole journey. It's just really fun. And I absolutely love staging homes as well. So my favorite part is going to be showing the before and after photos and videos because it is night and day.
Yeah, that's awesome too. And I'm sure like with social media and websites, things like that, it's great to see the before and after so clients can really truly see what you guys can do and offer as a team versus, other agents that don't quite have that set up.
Yeah, 100%.
That's awesome. All right. So I have a fun question for you, completely off topic.
Okay.
But if you could have a superpower or super talent, what would it be and why?
Oh, that's a good one. um, I mean, I know a lot of people wouldn't choose this, but I think it would be to read minds.
Mm.
The reason why is because when you get to know what someone's thinking, like I already feel like I can connect with people and kind of read the room, like what they would say, or read people's energy. I always feel like I have that gift to really quickly already read someone's energy or how they're feeling, or, just to have the feeling of the room, what's going on. But if I can read people's minds, I think that would be absolutely amazing, because to me, the human mind fascinates me. I mean, even in nursing school, just learning about the human body, I was like, this is insane how crazy our body is and how it functions, and how our skin's strong, but it's not. It's like millions of cells. Like, how is everything just blows my mind. So, if I could read people's minds, for one, I would really want to go to Elon Musk, and Jeff Bezos, and all these amazing humans that are just, to me, geniuses, and just try and get as much knowledge and learn from them through their minds. And also just knowing, like, say, like, for real estate, if in the house and absolutely is like in their head, I hate this house, I never want something like this, like, it would help me be like, I know what she wants and I'm not doing this again. you know so it's just, there's a number of reasons why I would choose that.
Yeah, awesome. All right, Melissa, if our audience wants to get in touch with you, learn more about what you're doing, what social media platform and how do they find you?
Okay, so my Instagram is Melissa Riso Realty, and there you can literally find everything I'm doing, from flipping homes to interior design to showing properties, and just all the fun stuff that Miami has to offer. So I would
Awesome.
definitely send them there.
No, awesome, Melissa. Thank you so much for your time today.
Of course.
Thank you so much for tuning into Empower Her Money podcast. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to subscribe, share this podcast, and leave a review wherever you are tuning in.